We now live in an age where the influence of religion in government is at an all-time low. Even in staunchly Catholic countries like Poland or the Philippines, separation of church and state is the order of the day. But it was too long ago that the Pope was arguably the most powerful man in the world. The Bishop of Rome, as he was originally called, had sway over secular rulers who themselves considered themselves the representatives of God on earth. And the wealth of the Vatican was only surpassed by that of the kings and queens of Europe. Today we look at the fascinating history of the popes of the Vatican. When Jesus sent his 12 apostles out into the world to spread his message, he made Peter the one they called upon, the leader of the group. Upon this, the Catholic Church bases its claim that the Pope is the successor of St. Peter, the first bishop of Rome. While there is no record of Peter ever visiting Rome, tradition holds that he was crucified upside down in the city in the 60s AD. Under the reign of Emperor Nero, the first verifiable bishop of Rome is a man named Linus, who according to legend succeeded Peter in the papacy, and under whose reign the Romans established their veneration of the Apostle Peter. From then on, the bishops of Rome claimed to be Peter's successors. But it took until the 9th century for this claim to be accepted across the whole of Christendom. In the early days, the Bishop of Rome's power was limited. In the year 756, when the Lombards threatened Rome, it took a plea from Pope Stephen III to the Frankish king Pepin the Short to save the city. Pepin obliged, and in return, Stephen III donated a vast amount of land in central Italy to the Bishop of Rome, creating the Papal States. This donation also included the city of Rome, which up until this point was ruled by a combination of the Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, various Italian nobles, and the Pope himself. But from now on, the popes were masters in their own right. Over the next few centuries, the popes grew the power and influence of the Catholic Church immeasurably. It was Pope Gregory I who in the year 590 officially established the title Papa, which derives from the Latin word for father, to set himself apart from other bishops. During the Middle Ages, the popes became the supreme judges of all Christendom, deciding matters of doctrine and morals. They also had the power to depose corrupt or heretical rulers, and were often involved in the political affairs of secular states. But cracks began to show in the system during the 14th century, when two men simultaneously held the title of Pope. One elected in Rome, the other in Avignon. This period, known as the Great Schism, lasted for 40 years and ended when the Council of Constance elected a new pope, who then moved the papacy back to Rome. As the power of the Catholic Church grew, so did its wealth. By the 16th century, it controlled nearly a third of the landmass of Italy, and had more money than any other institution in Europe. But the invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg caused serious problems for the Church. Books could now be mass-produced, which meant that people were exposed to ideas outside of those promulgated by the Catholic Church. Some of these ideas were those of the Protestant Reformation. When Martin Luther nailed his 95 Theses to the Wittenberg church door in 1517, it marked the beginning of the end for papal supremacy. Other reformers, such as John Calvin and Henry VIII, also contributed to weakening the Church. The latter broke with the Catholic Church and established the Church of England after the Pope refused to grant him a divorce. In the year 1870, the Kingdom of Italy was proclaimed, uniting most of the Italian peninsula under one rule for the first time. As a result, the temporal power of the papacy came to an end when the Kingdom of Italy seized the Papal States. However, the popes continued to assert their spiritual authority over Catholics worldwide. It was only after the Second Vatican Council in the 1960s that the Church began to take on a more progressive attitude towards other religions. It was during this council that the Mass was changed from Latin to the local language of the congregation. And it was after this that the Pope began to wear the modern white cassock, rather than the elaborate garments of the past. Today, the Pope is the head of the Vatican, the smallest country in the world by both area and population. He is elected for life from among the cardinals of the Catholic Church, and his residence is in the Apostolic Palace, the largest single building in the world occupied by just one person. The current Pope, Francis I, Jesuit to hold the office, was elected in 2013 and has since made several historic firsts, including the first papal visit to the United States in 2015, the first time a pope has visited Cuba, and the first time a pope has visited Thailand and Japan. Did you know that? Thanks for watching.